Hey guys, welcome to Revved Up with Mike. As you can see, we got the Busa tore apart here. It's going to be tore a little bit more apart too before the day is done and going into the next few days. We have the front tire off. We're taking a new tire, having that mounted. We're going to be changing the brakes, putting a new chain sprocket kit on it. But today we are doing the clutch. Not because it needs it right away, but because I want to do it before it needs it, because we're getting the infamous little rattle in the center of the clutch, and that's usually a good indication that your clutch is getting wore, your springs are getting weak, or your friction discs are getting wore, or a combination of all three. So we're going to tackle that today. We're going to be using a Suzuki OEM clutch kit, which is here. Keep in mind, on a Hayabusa clutch, on a first gen anyhow, there is a specific order that these have to go in. This is just not a throw in your friction disc and plates kind of solve everything. You have to pay attention to orientation and what you're doing, because things go in a certain direction on these particular clutches because, well, Suzuki designed it that way to give you maximum performance. Okay, so let's get into this clutch kit. Very good clutch kit. Now, I hear some of these come with the gasket and some come without the gasket. This one does have the gasket. We're going to pull these out, see exactly what we have in here. In the back of the box here is where your gasket's going to be. You'll find that. So if we pull, first off, let's pull our top packages out. Here's our friction discs, and our plates. And we should have two that are different numbers. So there's a 24F00, 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 and then we have a 24F10. Okay, keep that one to the side. 24F00, 24F10. These are your center. These go in the center, number 4 and 5 in orientation for the clutch. And I'll show you how to do that as we go. We're going to try to keep this simple today and very easy explanations so you guys know exactly what's going on. I'm gonna dump out. We got springs in this kit also. Pull this right out here. We have springs in this also. These are all going to be the same. We should have 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. And now we got to pay attention to our friction discs. So we have a 24F20. I believe these are going to be the normal ones. 24F20. 24F20. Yes. 24F20. 24F20. Then we have a 24F00. This one's going to be the very first engine side. Keep that to the side. 24F20, 24F20, 24F20. Then we have a 24F10. This is going to be the disc that goes against our pressure plate. Okay, so we have two that are different. The rest are all the same. Engine side, pressure plate side. Everything else is in between. Okay, so very important to know that stuff. Now I'm going to try to get you guys in a position here. So the first thing you want to do is drain your oil, of course. If somebody tells you, I watch a video and they go, I don't know, do I have to drain the oil? Yeah, you got to drain the oil. Drain the oil. Don't be lazy. If you're too lazy to drain the oil, you shouldn't be doing this job. If you don't know how to get your fairing off, you shouldn't be doing this job. I got all the bolts out of here already, by the way. Just so you know. Like I said, I have them all loose. I haven't taken them out, actually, except for one, and I haven't taken the cover off the gasket. But we're going to just do this by hand. They're all loose. They're all the same. At least mine are. Mine are all the same, with the exception of one that has a little strap here to hold this cable here. So we'll set those all aside. Now you should be able to pop these off with no problem. If not, there's a tab and a tab here and a tab here and a tab here and a tab here. You can kind of work a little bit, but as you can see, this is coming off nicely. So there is our clutch. And we want to inspect to make sure we don't have any metal inside, which we don't. Very clean, very, very clean. We're still going to clean up this edge because there's a little bit of gasket material on here. You don't want to use any silicone or RTV or anything on these. Put it back together without it. We're going to take our gasket off right now, and the gasket is still in decent shape. I'm going to sit that over to the side. This is the bolt that I replaced with a grade 8 bolt. These bolts are very weak, by the way. I want to go over this really quick. These are very weak. You do not want to over torque these. I think they're like 7 foot-pounds, I think is what they go to. If you change clutches on these frequently, they can, well, get weak and snap off on you, even taking them off, which was the case with this one right here. So just be careful. If something happens and it does snap off, don't panic. A cheap set of $10 small easy outs from Harbor Freight. Take these right out because they're not in at a terribly high torque. So let's do this, and let me show you here. We'll break these free. I'm going to start with the one that I put in. I have the motorcycle in 4th gear, by the way. A lot easier if it's in gear. Okay, I'm going to go right across from it. We're going to work in a star pattern. Yeah. This is a pressure plate, so you want to release it slowly. Okay. Now, let's put my socket on here. Back these out a little bit at a time. Okay, so we're going to pull all these out. They're pretty loose now. We're not going to be reusing either these springs or the bolts. It's really cheap. I got them right over here. Let me show you. Really cheap to purchase new bolts for this application. Part number 2148202F12, and this is a Suzuki part, and this is the bolt for the clutch springs. So we got springs, we have bolts, we have everything. Why? Because these get weakened over time. Remember, they're under extreme amounts of heat in the engine also. We say extreme. Enough heat where the heat and changing clutches every now and then, even the fact that when they put it together, they put stress under these. They're very weak. These bolts are very, very weak. And we'll show you the infamous noise that they get inside, and everybody says, oh my God, I gotta do a clutch mod. My clutch is making noise. It's freaking me out. Well, it's not the case. Not what you think. It's kind of designed to do what it does, and we'll go over that real quick here too. And you notice I'm taking my time. Take your time. These videos where they're going at these with screw guns and impact drivers. Oh wow, it's just insane watching some people do stuff. It's not the right way. Take your time. Get your hands in there, get a feel for things like this bolt right here, right? Okay? I'm getting a feel for it because if there's anything burred or caught up in there, I want to know it. I don't want and there's not. It looks like there's a little dirt. Yeah, there's a little dirt on that thread. Yes, you want to Loctite these, not with a really strong Loctite either. Simple blue removable thread locker, 242 will work. And this is the spring that I replaced in washer. With a grade 8. We got the last one here. So let me show you. See, this is the rattling that you hear when the clutch is not under any pressure on the inside. I'll show you that in a second here. So we're going to be very meticulous about this. I'm going to do this slow and methodically so you guys can watch and do it right and try not to talk too much. So we're going to pull off our pressure plate. I'm going to hold the disc back, pull off the pressure plate so you guys can see what's going on in here and what we got here. I'm pulling it off slowly. There we go. Pull it off slow, and you'll see that we have kind of like a washer right here. I'm going to inspect this real quick. Okay. Everything looks good. Nothing's worn here, so we're good to go. You want to make sure that it's clean, and it is. And then we have this little roller bearing right here in our input shaft. I'm going to pull this. Pull this shaft out, inspect it, make sure everything's okay, which again it is, and I'm going to sit it right back in the orientation that you need it, and you know it needs to go in. Real simple. If it's in the orientation you need it to go in, you know it's going to go back in that orientation. I'm going to sit this to the side in a clean area, and this is what you hear. This is the rattling that you hear when your clutch plates start getting low in conjunction with your metal, your fiber plates and your steel plates, and your springs all start getting weak, and you start hearing this noise right here. well, it's kind of designed to do that, but I want to show you guys something. See, I want to show you this. When this is under pressure, this is kind of designed to do a little ramp up. And as you can see, we had one of these back out. So, and where is that bolt? See this here? You see this here? So we're gonna have to break that one out of there. See how easy that is that came out? So we'll put a little Loctite on that before we put this back together. Not a big deal there. So this is things you want to check for. But anyhow, these are designed to do like a little ramp up under pressure. They got a little ramp to them. They'll go whoop and out a little bit. Almost like a slipper clutch, but it's doing its job. This movement back and forth in here, like so, is made to do that. They didn't lock it up on purpose. They didn't weld it. Welding it is, honestly, I think that's the worst idea in the world because you have a spinning mass that won't be balanced. The way it is now, it will be balanced with everything together. You put a spinning mass on there, it's unbalanced. It's like a front tire being out of balance. If you're going to do the mod, what you call a mod, so nothing's moving in there, do the Brox. It's expensive, but it's the best to go. So we're going to inspect in here. We have clutch particles in here, so a lot of people don't do this, but we're just going to give it a quick wipe out and make sure that we don't have any big chunks of anything in here, which we don't. Okay, so we're going to take our first plate, which is this one. Okay, so what we have in here is an aftermarket clutch. This is not a Suzuki clutch. As you can see, this is the Suzuki clutch. This is this one. This looks like an EBC almost. I'm not seeing any branding on this, but it's looking like an EBC. So I'm going to take this out. I'm going to sit it here, and I'm going to put them in order. So I want to sit everything in order so I know how it's coming out. And I'm going to start removing these discs, and there's no perforations on these discs either. So I'm going to kind of take these off. So this came off here. Take it off in a correct order, facing the direction in case we ever had something happen and we have to go back to this clutch. But you know what? Let's measure this and see how thick it is. 2.4, okay? So 2.4 on the clutch. Now let's measure our clutch plates, at least one of them, to see the difference. So 2.4, and then we have get it on there correctly. 3.4. So we have a millimeter difference. 3.4. We have a millimeter difference on the clutch. So yeah, that clutch is wore pretty good. You add that all together and you can see how you can start to get it rattled, right? Okay, so we'll pull this disc off. I don't see any burn spots. Everything. And I'm going to show you the very last thing that we do with this bike. This is very important that we pay attention to. So there's a lot of things that are going to be very important that you guys want to watch. And I want to show you every aspect of this, pulling it apart slowly so you can see what I see when I see it. If there's an issue and I do it, I inspect. I want to know if there's anything going on. Yeah, these plates are still usable, but they're getting low, which is why we're getting that rattle. Not because of the system is flawed, it's because they're just getting weak. Getting worn, weak springs, everything in conjunction with each other. They all work together, same thing. Just want to look at everything. You know, I don't know what kind of clutch it is. It's not marked. I'm thinking an EBC would be marked. This friction disc right here is worn significantly more than the other ones. No bluing on these so far, by the way, guys. There's no bluing. So if you're having a hard time getting in there, you get in underneath the disc and pull it out. It comes out pretty easy. See? No sense in fighting with it. I'm just using a small screwdriver. Yeah, your inners are definitely worn more than the outers. There we are. fingers on it, then it comes right out. So this clutch is in the worst shape of all of them. That one is extremely, extremely paper thin. Very, very low. So you guys can see how just a little bit can make a big difference and then make that mechanism inside get all wonky. Okay. And there's our spring right there. See that? So there's two of these. I want to make sure, in case this falls out on you, the lip, it's going to bevel down in towards the bike. Don't turn it this way. You're going to mess yourself up. So remember, this goes in. But you have another disc. You got another clutch in here. Okay? And a lot of people show these staying in, but a lot of times they don't stay in. So I'm going to show you the correct order of putting this back together. There, come on out. Come on out. This is the hardest one to get. This is, you see the difference. Oh, this one is very worn also. So there we go on that one. So here's this. Remember, beveled and in. Okay, so I'm going to sit this right there. So what I'm going to do is take my friction discs, okay, and I'm going to soak them in oil. Remember I said this one and these two are different, and they're different for a reason. So I'm going to soak these all in oil, but we don't still want to mix them up. If you're doing it, you don't want to mix them up either. Don't get confused. Sometimes when they're in oil, you can't really distinguish between this one and these ones, okay? So this is a whole different part number. The 24F10 is a whole different part number. So these don't have to be in oil very long, guys. 10 minutes, maybe not even. It's just to get them wet so they don't leave clutch particles. When you use your clutch, you're not eating up your clutch fast. You want to put a dry, some people don't even oil them. They put them in and they'll run the bike, and it's fine if you do that. But the right way is to oil them overnight. Doesn't make a damn bit of difference. You're just getting them lubricated so you're not leaving clutch particles in eating up your clutch quicker on initial use. So if you ever wonder why they do that, that is why. If you feel comfortable doing it for 24 hours, makes you feel better, float your boat, go ahead and do that. We are not going to do that. But we're going to soak these right now. Clean oil, soak them in clean oil. Don't put dirty oil back in your, I mean, you can, but don't put dirty oil back in your engine. Soak them in clean oil. What I'm going to do is put these in a baggie. Let me show you that real quick. Now, oil of choice is going to be up to you. My application, what I like to run, I love to run a 20W50 in my Hayabusa. That's what I run. That's what this bike likes, and that's what I'm going to use. It's a K&N synthetic. I like it. They make a 1040 also. I love the oil. You might not, but that's what we're using. So I'm going to take a little bit of this K&N oil that we're going to use, and I'm going to put it right in a Ziploc bag right here. And it doesn't take a lot, guys. We're not trying to fill the bag with oil. We're just putting a little bit of oil, clean engine oil, in here. I'm going to zip it up here real quick so I don't lose any. Sit it there. And I'm going to take the first plate, which is the small one, that I know I'm not going to mess up because it's small. And we're going to open up all these bags, okay? And then I'm going to open up all of these F420s, which is all the standard ones. I'm going to save this one to last. I'm not going to soak this one yet. Okay? I'll do that when the time comes. You can soak them all together if you want, but like I said, they can be hard to distinguish between these if you do that. So let's open up these bags. They open up pretty easily. And I'm doing everything in real time so you guys know exactly what to expect, okay? Examine. Now, these go into no particular way. Either way is fine on your friction discs themselves. Now, the reason I'm soaking the first plate with these is because there's an obvious visual difference between them. And that's this one. You can see the difference. See the visual difference in the size. Watch, I'll lay this over. You'll see it. A big difference in size and thickness this way. Okay. Throw these in this oil just like this. Seal up the bag. And just give it a toss around a little bit. Well, it's engine oil. It's going to flow. It's going to get right into everything. So just let the engine oil do its work. Get in there. Because all it is coating those fibers. And once it hits those fibers, this is the myth. Once it hits those fibers, it's engine oil. It soaks right into those fibers. Your fibers are not going to be dry. Like right now, all of these discs are covered. Realistically, they're all covered in oil. You don't have a big mess. You have no big bucket. You use a minimum oil. They're all covered. You can just leave them just like that for 5 minutes if you like. In the meantime, I'm going to come back and I'm going to clean up this surface. Okay, I'm going to use a nano rag on this real quick. I just did most of this, but I'm just giving a quick once over. You might still have some residue. When I say residue, it won't come off. It's kind of impregnated into the metal. But the thing is, you just want to get it as smooth as possible. If it comes off with a rag, and you might have something. If somebody used RTV, good luck. I mean, you're going to be there for a little bit. But this is all regular gasket material. The worst of it seems to be in the spot that's the hardest to get. Take a little screwdriver right here, put it in here, and just give it a. There we go. Come right off. See that? Just a little bit, and it just for peace of mind. Now remember, keep your work area nice and clean. I know I don't mean to sound like pestery, but keep your work area nice and clean. A clean work area is a happy work area, but it keeps everything organized, and that's the key when doing something that you haven't done before. And then have a little something to write on. Always have something to write on. Maybe take some pictures if you need to take some pictures for memory purposes. Okay, so this has been in here long enough. Remember this metal plate right here that I stuck back on there. So this doesn't go in first, okay? Because that's not how it comes out. So everybody, we're gonna take this right here, line it up, and put it in, and there we go. Boom, there's number one. And we're gonna throw this in. Now, why do you do that? Well, it locates everything. It locates that first. It locates it, okay? So that's why it's tapered. It locates it. So it's not the first disc. If you put the metal in first, it might not locate it. You want to use that spring right there. It's kind of technically a weird ass spring, but to locate it. So there we go. And then we're on to our first metal plate. Now remember when I said we had all those metal plates, right? We have two different ones. Those are two different ones. So I'm going to take these two different ones. Okay, well, let's see if I can set those right there out of the way. Those are two different ones, and the rest are all 24 F00s. So we're going to open up a bag. Now these have to go a specific direction. There's a sharp edge, and then there's a smooth edge. Okay, sharp edge goes to the outside, facing the outside of the bike. Smooth edge, makes sense, goes to the inside of the bike. Okay, so we're going to put that disc on, and we're going to call this plate number one. Okay, so 24 F00, plate number one. These are all going to be 24 F00s until we get to the fourth and fifth plate. So plate number one. And these are all regular friction discs from here on out, not the small one. Okay, so same way. These are all done. Push that in. Okay. Now 24F00, same plate. So sharp edge, remember, sharp edge is towards the outside of the bike. Kind of rolled edge goes inside of the bike. You'll feel that sharp edge. It's sharp. It'll cut your fingers if you went down through. Put that plate in. Okay. So that's plate number two. And this is, don't get to care about these numbers. Number two. Plate number three. And fiber disc. Now we're going to go to plate number four. Okay, so plate number four, remember we have two that are same, they're 22 F10s. Okay, plate number four, it's thicker. Sharper on one side than the other. Boom. Now this is per manual, by the way. Fiber disc, and these have soaked in long enough, guys. That's all it takes. The overnight thing is weird. I mean, it's oil. It penetrates it. It's done. So there's that, and now we're back to our regular metal discs. The outside. Boom. It's moving freely and nicely. Shouldn't be any binds going in, nothing like that. Regular friction disc. And I'll show you guys something because this is a very important part that's coming up. Do not miss this part. Get in there. There we go. Boom. 0, 0. Boom. Okay, and our last regular one. Boom, boom, boom. Then we're going to take our last friction plate here. Very noticeable. Okay, so you put that on, and there's that. And then here is our last thicker friction disc, which doesn't go like this. See how that fits in there like that? It does not go like that. You want to turn this one off. Manual says, okay, to turn this one off. So don't lock it in with the others. The other ones are all in this groove. You see how this is here? Turn it and sit it in the secondary groove. Boom. Okay. Now we have all of our clutches installed correctly. And that's all the oil that we used, guys. That's all that we used. We didn't waste a bunch of oil, which is a good thing. But remember, we have this little dealio right here that we gotta break out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a wrench on this side, a socket wrench on this side, and break this free real quick. It's not under a lot of pressure, so there's no doubt that it's gonna come out. Put a wrench over here. You want to make sure it's, remember what we said, we want to make sure it's not bound up. Thread lock will do that. So what I'm going to do is put a little thread lock on the stud itself, okay, of the Loctite. Like once again, 242. It's a little bit on the thread. Boom, boom, boom. And just throw that in there like so. Let's get our pressure plate that we set to the side over here, and we shouldn't have moved anything in this pressure plate. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a wipe down and give it a good look. Just inspect it again really quick. Our little centric rod here. Okay, I'm going to place that in the clutch. Then we have our needle bearing, our little needle bearing. We're going to put that, everything's clean, anything in debris and nothing like that. We're going to put that bearing right there. Our washer should stay there. And then we're going to do this here and make it line it all up. So there we go, just like that. Now, I'm going to give it a little push here. Push it in slowly. I don't tell you this. Give it a little push in slowly because you're going to push your clutches in a little bit, okay? It might be a little force like it's under hydraulic force, okay? So here's our bolts, and remember we have brand new springs. So I'm gonna dab a little bit. I'm gonna do these kind of one at a time. A little bit of Loctite on there. A bit. Take my springs. Let's actually, you know what we can do is we can take our springs and put them all in right now. There we go. So those are our springs. I'm going to take this bolt. Now this is, like I said, push it back in. Might take a minute here. Push it in here. Put a little pressure on it. Push it, push it, push it, push it. Tight there. Okay. Now I'm going to hold that. I'm going to take my first bolt. And it should. So just so you know, what need to tell you guys every little aspect. So when you go to put these bolts in, you're not going to reach and you're going to go, what did I do wrong? You didn't do anything wrong. Remember that inside moves back and forth, okay? So you just kind of got to finagle it to get one started, kind of like so. And that's going to pull them out. These should just reach, okay? And if it doesn't, give it a little push in here. Star pattern it, as actually what I'm going to try to do here. Get like this one started. And there, see, that's started just like that. You don't want to cross thread it, of course. And just start them all before you start tightening, which is very important. And yeah, it's just easier for me to put this on a extension like so. Start them. So there they all are. Now they're ready to tighten down. Okay, there we go. Everything is tight, right, and ready to fight, cock, locked, and ready to rock. So take your gasket. The easiest way is just to take your gasket, and let me get you in here. The easiest way is just to take your gasket, find out where your pins are here. This is the pin that holds it here, the pins that holds it here. That's going to be the big ones here. So yeah, there you go, just like that, and sit it right there. And this is a pretty good quality gasket right here. Now we'll take this and get it oriented and pull our wire out up and over so it's out of the way. And this should theoretically should go right there. There we go. Boom. So I'm just going to start all these, get them started. I'm not going to bore you with all this, of course, but I do want to show you where one goes. These are all the same length, by the way, or should be. And same thing, you don't want to go around it. You want to kind of crisscross it. Not a lot of torque on these, I know that, but I'll give you the torque specs below, just so you know. Now we're just going to go through, torque these all up. I'll put the torque measurements below, and then the clutch is installed. I got to put my drain plug in and add oil. Start with 3 quarts. Top off is needed because we didn't do a filter change. The filter's brand new. So we have our 3 quarts in there to start. It's full on the eye, so we're gonna start it. Okay guys, moment of truth. We're gonna start this thing here. Move your back wheel a little bit forward. There we go. Now we should be able to, there we go. See, we're in neutral. Move your back wheel forward. Get it in neutral. Start it. Warm up a little bit. Get the plate spinning. No clutch rattle at all. Now you're gonna get a clunk. There's no way around it. You're gonna get a clunk with new clutches. It's got to get worn in. So we're going to go down into first gear. Make sure you're centered So remember, guys, there's a right way and there's a wrong way to do things. Now, a lot of people have more tools. A lot of people have this down where they do it every day. I don't do it every day, but I've done a bunch. This is the right way of doing it. Everything's right. Make sure your torque specs are correct. And remember, don't freak out if it's a little clunky at first. Everything is new. But it just shifted through the gears on the stand, and honestly shifted pretty smooth. So that's good. It got rid of that knock in the clutch housing itself, in the basket itself. So that rattling that you hear, remember I said, that ramps up. That piece moves. It's designed to move, almost act like a slipper clutch. When you start to hear that noise, it's an indication that your clutches are getting worn, and it's time to replace things. And it's easy to replace everything while you're in there. Do your friction discs, do your metal plates, do your springs, and do your bolts while you're in there. Just peace of mind. For $13, $16 more, just do them. Guys, thanks for watching Revved Up with Mike. We're going to be coming back and doing a lot more to this thing. We're going to be installing the new tire on this. I got to take the shop and we'll put it back on. We're going to put new brakes on this, and as well as a brand new chain. That's right, we're going to be doing, this is a brand new chain that's on it. It's just an off-brand chain, and I would feel more comfortable with a good chain. And we're going to be doing sprockets also, which means we'll be pulling this side off and getting into here. This bike has really came a long ways. What a beautiful machine. I really love it. Thanks for watching Revved Up with Mike. If you could hit that like button, share, subscribe, and help boost this channel up again a little bit. It is a new channel, and I'm really trying to get it to grow. Show you guys exactly what we can do with these bikes, hobbyists, enthusiasts, and that you can tackle it too. You know, you want the right way. You don't want to watch these videos where somebody's doing it for the first time and telling you how to do it. That's dangerous. We need to learn from people who have done it and have encountered just about everything. So what I've walked you through, what I've shown you, is things that I have learned throughout the years, and just to show you exactly what needs to be done. And like I said, there's a proper order. Now, if you're using an EBC clutch or a Barnett clutch, you can throw all what I just said out the window as far as order goes. Some people mix and match clutch plates. That's beyond me. I stick to the manual, and that's how I do it. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Peace out. Bye. Remember, hit the like button. Subscribe. It doesn't cost you a freaking cent. All right.